Hi, thanks for joining me on Wilderness with Monty, and I am here to fish the Middle Fork. I'm gonna start in the town of Griegel. I usually fish the stretch in between Clio, and Griegel, but I want to fish Griegel and then push far upstream. And I came here because I fished the East Carson River for Wilderness with Monty Patreon yesterday, and I got there and there was ice all over the river, floating in the river. It was almost impossible to fish. I got a nice rainbow, but I mean, I was amazed I even caught anything. But to my satisfaction, there's no ice on this river. And that's why I raced out here. I was scared there was going to be ice. I was late to that show. I didn't want to be late to this show. So I fished here 3 or 4 weeks ago for Wilderness with Monty Patreon, and I lit it up, but I didn't get that big guy. I got some nice trout, and there's some really good-looking fish. And one of the things I'm going to be looking for is to see if I see any river otters. I usually see tons of river otters, like a family there, a bunch over there, and that they eat a lot of fish, and I didn't see any last time. And I'm wondering if that harsh winter last winter cold the herd. I'm not sure. But I'm going to be fishing. This river is under general statewide regulations and under 5.85 section in the Fish and Wildlife Guide. It's open after November 15th for barbless artificial zero bag limit. Now, as I always say, check all regulations from official sources. Don't get your regulations from me. And I strongly recommend that you don't get your regulations from anybody on YouTube or anything else that you watch. It's always best just to go straight to the guide and look. But under section 5.85, you'll see that opens up a lot of general regulation rivers in the winter if they're not completely covered with ice. So let's go see if we can get a fish. I'm fishing the 1/8 ounce barbless marabou jigs. So let's go. It's already kind of nice out here. It's already 8:30 in the morning. And it's up to around 25 already. And I'm just not too big these days on racing out to rivers at 7 a.m. and it's 15 degrees. I can fish in 15-degree weather, but I'd rather wait until it's in at least the 20s. Once it gets into the 20s, high 20s, low 30s, that's my optimal comfort zone. I'm hoping I can get by without gloves. I hate wearing gloves. So in this deep, slower stuff I'm starting at, I'm gonna be looking to fish deep and fast. And that's what I'm looking for, deep and fast. Looking to pick up something good size that's hanging out. And we'll see what we can get. Already I can see that it's a lot slower. Last time I was getting hits on every cast. And I'm wondering if this full moon that we have right now is affecting this situation. So I'm giving this a pretty good once over. Nothing was happening in that slow stuff. I mean, this is just way slower than last time. People who watch that Patreon clip know I already had like 3 fish in the net in this section by now. And I was getting a bunch of hits. I'm not getting anything, man. I had a couple small guys follow it, but they really weren't that interested. All right, let's hike upstream and get into some of this faster running water. This slow stuff just is not cutting the mustard right now. It's hard to know what's solid and what's not when you're walking on this grass that it's like mounds with holes in between them. And it's not ideal for strolling. This isn't where you want to take your afternoon stroll. I just went down pretty good on that ice. Fortunately, I didn't separate a shoulder or anything, but I definitely fell down. I'm dry though. I might fight through stuff like this on my way back if I haven't caught anything yet, because then that's the hour of desperation. But I'm not there yet. Right? I've only been fishing for like 45 minutes, so I'm willing to walk around the super thick brush hedge and not break through it yet. Will I get to the point where I need to? Possibly. But that looks interesting. And this is why not everything that looks interesting is worth going into, because now I just walked myself into this dense Mirkwood forest. Finally found that one aggressive rainbow. I had him hooked for a second. I don't think he's gonna bite again. He's chasing it. I don't know if he's gonna take it though. There he is. He took it. He took it. I gotta get him over the ice. That's a good fish. I got him over the ice. And I got him in the net. I gotta break through this ice so I can let him go, right? There you go. I can get him in the water there. I'm gonna let him rest in this net. It's ice cold water. This is a really nice fish. I couldn't believe he came back and went again. I mean, I hooked him for a second and he still came back. That's how aggressive he was, which is different than everything else I'm seeing. So let me get my hands wet. I don't mind getting my hands wet for a fish like this, man. This is what I come to the Middle Fork of the Feather for. Hard fighting rainbows like that. That's a beautiful fish. And he's got his hole in the ice to escape through. There he goes. He's under the ice now. He shot out. He was under the ice and he was kind of just figuring out where he was, and then he just bolted. Cast it to the far side and he was following it. I slowed it down, he took it, I set the hook, and then he came back and went for seconds. I couldn't believe he went for seconds. So this usually isn't my best part of the river to fish, but I was getting fish here last time, so I figured I'd give it a try. And this, normally speaking, when you come here, there's a lot of times there's fish just sitting on the edge where the grass is. But there's this layer of ice there that makes things tricky. So I'm firing this thing, getting it way to the other side, and I'm just going with a faster retrieve. And he must have been just sitting over there. Look, there's one chasing it. There's one chasing it. Oh, I missed him. Oh, I missed him. He was chasing it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Oh, he's chickening out. This is a time for bravery. There he is. He's going. Oh, got him. Got him. Got him. Okay, I gotta get him over the ice again. He's under the ice. That's no good. I gotta get him over the ice. He's on the ice. The ice is kind of your friend. So this is where the fish are. Going back to right. Oh, the ground's frozen too. I just, as you saw, went down. So I'm gonna put him in that little hole I made in the ice, and he can just sit in there and he can power up and relax for a second. And he looks like he's ready to go. I didn't fight him that long. I got him right on the edge of the ice. There he is. This fish is wild and he's ready to go. Look at how they have all of their fins. These are beautiful rainbows. Look at that. I like to watch them when they go under the ice, and then you can see them under the ice, and once they realize they're free, he's right there now. As soon as they get to that point right there, that's when they dart. And let's try not to fall down like I did coming down here. This ground is frozen with frost. It's really slippery, this grass. So you gotta watch out. Basically, I'm presenting this like I would if I was fly fishing with a woolly bugger. And I'm just swimming it quick. Fish don't seem to like to be under the ice along the edge, because I'm looking and I'm not seeing them. And I know this because I have experience. You see, I scared about 4 really nice trout that were just sitting right on the edges when I walked up, but there was really nothing I could do because, I mean, my shadow was so long with the way the sun was when I was fishing. I'd walk up and they would just bolt, and once they bolt, it's over. Last time I was here, there were like schools of small new trout swimming around. And I haven't seen anything like that this time, and it's only a few weeks later, but it is a lot colder, so they might be somewhere else. Yeah, I still got it. I walked right up to the water and scared away a really nice trout. It's good to see I haven't lost my touch. Jigs in this water right here because it's not deep at all. So if you don't do it a specific way, you're gonna get the green stuff on the bottom. So what I do is, I like the 1/8 ounce jigs because I can really control the cast. And I usually get fish right along that far side where the water's rushing. So what I'll do is I'll soft toss it out. That was a short, I cast it short there. But then I hold my rod almost straight up and down because I only have a 5-foot rod. If I had like a 6 or 7 foot rod, it'd be really easy to keep my jig up out of the bottom. But with this short rod, you gotta compensate. And I just do that by holding it straight up and down and giving it fast jerks. I wanna make a cast here, but if I step on that frosty grass on that steep grade, I am going to be in the river. I wanna fish the river. I don't wanna be in the river. I just lost one. This is a section that's really interesting. The one I lost is only like 10 inches. But it's super deep. And it's got these bushes along the edge. And it's almost like undercut banks. And I'm just going diagonal and I'm just sectioning this deep stuff. And that little guy ran up and just grabbed it. All right, the river turns into a wide, shallow lake as far as the eye can see. So I don't have the time to go explore that. So I'm gonna head back down. Go over here because this is the only place where the fish seem to be feeding. There's weed beds here and there's aggressive fish. I fished a mile of river and I haven't seen anything except in this one spot. And I never catch fish in this slow water on jigs. And then for some reason, I don't know. So I'm letting this guy chill. He's a small guy. My feet are on the ice right now. And now he's ready to go. I'm gonna get him off. Let's get my hand wet. And these fish have like a really cool bronze color. Let me get my other hand wet too. These fish have a really cool bronze color to them and they're really nice. He's a little guy. Get him back out there. And for some reason, this is the only place that I can get fish. I'm just on my way back and I figured I'd stop here and make a few more casts because I can't get fish to bite anywhere else. I mean, I fished some really good pools and I just wasn't getting nothing. And usually I come to this section and I don't get a thing. But today, for whatever reason, this is the only game in town. It's one after another. It's just like, oh, he's under the ice. He's under the ice. I gotta get him around the ice. I gotta get him on top of the ice. He's on the ice. Once I get him on the ice, there, goose is cooked. Get him in the net. I gotta punch a hole here. Ugh. There we go. I have a place to let him sit and recoup. When I'm getting rainbows like this and this slow stuff, I gotta get him. He's gotta get into the hole. There he goes. Get into the hole, dude. I made a hole for you. No, don't swim on top of the ice. Go under the ice. Under the ice. There he goes. So in this section of river, there's hydrilla down there. And I guess the fish are feeding here. Because everywhere else I'm going where the water's rushing, where I usually catch a lot of fish, I'm not getting anything. I lost that one little fish and that was it. Ooh, there we go. Whew. Man. I mean, there are just fish on patrol here. The strange thing is, I'm fishing this section. I'm only getting hits in about 20 yards of shoreline. And it's kind of the same on both sides of it, and I don't get anything. It's in that one spot. Who am I to question the river? I'll take what the river gives me. All I'm saying is it's a little bit strange, all right? Well, that's gonna do it, man. When I hit those first couple of spots, and I fished this first stretch, made a bunch of casts, didn't see anything. I was on high skunk alert. Skunk alert, skunk alert, skunk alert. But I fought it off. I found that one section of river where I usually don't do good, and they were just really aggressive right there. They weren't aggressive to the left of it. They weren't aggressive to the right of it. I don't know why. There must be like a hole out there with some weeds or something where the fish were just hanging out. And I also slowed my retrieve down. Usually in a situation like that, I try to make it go really fast so they don't get a chance to see it. But it is cold. It's about 15 degrees colder than it was when I fished here a few weeks ago. And I think that has something to do with the difference in the fishing. Maybe the full moon. I have no idea. All I know is last time for Patreon, it was smoking hot. And this time, I was on skunk alert. But it's all good. My new 5-foot ugly stick is working for me. I also had to replace my pack because it was disintegrating and all the straps were breaking. But whatever, it's all good. I get the same pack so I can clip off all the clips. I cut them off so that when these clips break, because they eventually do, that's the first thing to go, I have replacements for everything. So that way, it's almost like, I can just cannibalize the old pack. Because the old pack had such a big hole in it that I'd sewed so many times, I put it on and my water filter just fell out of my apartment. And I'm like, all right, I had to order one right there. I stitched it up just enough. But it's all good, man. I hope you enjoyed those rainbows. It was a weird day out here, but there's big browns in here too. I have another clip for the Middle Fork of the Feather River on my river fishing playlist where I get a big brown upriver. Next time I'm probably going to go explore downstream if I look at some new water. I went as far as I could, and then it looked like there was a golf course or something, and you had to really go far to get to more rushing water, and I wasn't doing that. So it was all good, though. We got some fishing in. It's not that cold. It's just cold enough. And I also didn't see any river otters for the second time, and I fished up by Clio last time in the big still area where there's usually a family of them out there. There's usually tons of them in that still area where I was fishing. I ain't seeing none. And I'm not asking any questions. I'm just looking the other way. So I hope you enjoyed this morning of fishing on the Middle Fork of the Feather River. Thank you for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. Until next time.